Welcome to the month of October 2025 for your astrology Scorpio. This is great for sun, moon, and rising, and we love this month for you. You are on your A game, charging ahead with executive power, super decision-making ability, and some of this is going to amplify just a little bit some of those career gains and profitability for you. I also would say this is going to be a month in which you just feel like you're going to have a lot of relief, luck, and flow, as we all are, as we have beautiful water trine forming in our sky and some Venus Jupiter stories as well. And I'll bring that into a detailed analysis for you as we go through the week ahead, month by month. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Lori Lothian, and I am using the Western Tropical Zodiac whole sign houses, and fixed stars and minor asteroids are a part of my regular features on the channel. Please come aboard and say hi, like, subscribe, and I'd love to see you here. One thing I want to mention to you is that I'm teaching my Sky Reader class. I teach every single fall a 6-week live course on how to time your best life and be your own astrologer and read your sky. And if you want to learn the language of astrology, come join me. We're going to be having weekly Q&As. Content is kept by you forever. If you can't make it live, no worries. There are a Facebook group, Discord group to join other students. We have guest teachers in astrology teaching astrocartography, grand aspect patterns, and zodiacal releasing, and Sabian symbols. So you have a lot of learning for a relatively low price and in a short time, 6 weeks of your life, one class every Saturday. Come join me and look in the description box below for how to sign up. Second, it starts off September 27th. And second of all, my friend Renn Butler of the Archetypal Universe fame. I have his book on my shelf. I'm always reading from it with you guys. It is his class in October at 6 months. It's an amazing course. I've taken it myself back in 2020, and I love it. It opened up Archetypal Universe astrology, opened up stories of the sky that I never imagined, made me see my birth chart and my birth perinatal matrix, me being born into this world, and the depths of understanding about who I am, what the sky reflects back at me. And I learned that I'm dreaming the sky, and so are you. There's so much to learn on his class, and he got a discount code for you guys, just if you say Lori sent me. So please do that. You'll get a major discount in the pricing. All right. So thank you very much for entertaining my promotion. And let's go ahead and talk about your story, Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising. I should probably call this the big relief this month, the big relief. And the reason is because we are having the end of the eclipse cycle. Yes, those eclipses in September were really difficult, and most people felt pretty well traumatized by them. But on top of that, even though they happened last September, they do sort of unfold over 6 months and a year. But we could feel that eclipse portal as a very grinding energy, all of us. And here we are in a relief energy, a flow, and some luck as we move Mars into the story as well. Let's talk about Mars for you. You are a Mars-ruled individual, Scorpio rising. That's your avatar in the simulation of life, your game playing character. If you are literally looking for your sun, it's the game player, not the character, and it's your true self. But your sun sign in a Scorpio would also represent aspects of your life that may be reflecting stories about your purpose, your career path, the meaning of your life. And then when you talk about your moon sign, it's reflecting your feelings and thinkings about life, but also, how you respond to life, but also your home and your nest and where you live. So you can listen for all three. And we pretend that the sun is in the first house here in Scorpio, like that ascendant would be, or the moon, to do a derived house reading. Listen for all three. Over time, you get to see what makes sense for you. Now, in the sky, you are starting the month very strong. It's October the 1st, and I want you to notice Mars is right here in Scorpio. He entered Scorpio, if you want to know, back in September around the 22nd, and he leaves Scorpio, your sign, November the 3rd. This makes you very strong this month. This gives you an ability to be passionate, focused, driven, to achieve whatever you want to achieve. And as Mars is in the first house, it's also your emotions being very, very intense. However, you might also notice that he is in this placement, still Mars, and you could be sharp and angry and aggressive towards other people. And that is particularly true of a significant spousal love mate story, or your clients, or your public, or your audience, or your marketplace. You are sharp-tongued and sharp in general, and it might be quite often that you don't mean to fly off the handle with someone close to you, but you definitely can. So be careful during this transit until November the 3rd that you don't be kind to other people. You don't suffer fools gladly at this point. You might also feel that you are unstoppable and you can get what you want. And that's because of where Saturn is. And so you're determined to achieve with hard work, resilience, and persistence, anything you want to achieve in the month of October. And be careful for injuries with hot water or slipping on mud or falling into quicksand or, challenges with water. And that's why I said hot water, just because Mars can injure and he is in the sign of water, and there's just be cautious there. Now, that's the general background story that you can't not pay attention to. What about the rest of the month? As I'm going to say, if you hear slamming sounds, there's a windstorm here. I wonder if I should try closing that window. Hopefully you're not hearing it. It's just like there's literally gusts of 50 or 60 miles an hour in Vancouver right now as I record for you guys on September 17th. My Patreon community gets this early access ad free. So, okay, back to you. We start the month. It is October 1st, 2nd. Mercury is going to be in a square to Jupiter. Jupiter is in a strong position, exalted, applying to Mercury. Jupiter is making this look like a good opportunity for a visa, passport, travel, educational acceptance, guru, ashram, spiritual community up level. A good opportunity for book publishing deals, a good opportunity for a chance to be teaching or being professorial. Where Mercury is sitting as he's like opening up the opportunity, he's kind of the newsman. And so the first couple of days in the month, you might find out that there's some news from a distant shore, far off land, or foreign person in your world that's quite opportunity rich and exciting, and you just might want to say yes. And where Mercury is sitting in the sign that belongs to Venus, she's in the house of friends, allies, and benefactors. So very possibly somebody's going to make like a foreign or distant shore ally, friend, or benefactor. It's going to give you some blessed opportunity that you don't want to say no to. That's for sure. Any creative projects you're doing home alone, especially with thinking and writing, also suddenly blossom or bloom into an opportunity in the 9th house, which is a very powerful and fortunate, lucky house on its own. Don't forget, Lord Jupiter is trining you in a flow of luck all through till next July. So this is really a nice vibe for you in the beginning of the month. Now, one other thing I might mention is that father figures in Indian astrology, Vedic astrology, can be where Jupiter's sitting. The sun is the ruler of the 10th house of fathers in Western astrology. And that's father, that's Mercury, that's news, that's money. News that money is coming to you from a father figure may be one of the ways this story looks when we look at the first 2 days of October. Now, and this is hospitals over here. Now, then that's very unlikely for most of you, so don't get all freaked out. Okay, but Pluto in the legacy wealth house and Uranus in the house of death, this is a possibility. October the 6th, there is a full moon at 14 degrees of Aries. Now, a full moon at 14 degrees of Aries is a nice thing because it's completion of something you started at the end of March. Okay, hang on a sec. Okay, at the risk of heating my house up on a hot day with gusts of 60 miles an hour, I closed a window before something broke. Let me put my fan on. Sorry, guys. No, I can get by without it. So look, only for Scorpio, I'm in distress. Yeah. The full moon will complete something you started March 29th. Add 2 weeks. So the first couple of weeks of April, you might have planted some new seeds, some new beginnings in your work house and health house. Typically, this could look like ending an addiction. You might have said to yourself, I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to quit that addiction. I'm going to stop doing that thing that is really bad for my well-being. And if you've made a plan or a plot or a seed or an intention to do that back in the day, okay, back in March into April, then this is where you're going to see the fulfillment, the completion, or the execution of that promise to yourself. Especially with Neptune here retrograding, you're no longer as enchanted as you used to be by the addictions that can captivate you and pull you down the drain with them. That can be anything from Häagen-Dazs to a substance that's, not a good one, but whatever it is, you're turning it around. Now, also, maybe you planted new seeds because you want to change your work and you're no longer interested in the job you had or have, and you're thinking of something new. Just very similar energy here. You could definitely find yourself now fulfilling that commitment to getting something new going in work, changing your position, changing something in the work environment itself. So those are all possibilities of what the full moon may unfold for you over the course of the weeks that follow. and the months that follow as well, up to 6 months later. If you wanted to get a pet and you've been thinking about it, it's a 2 thumbs up on the fulfillment moon. The full moon says yes to a pet or yes to a new rental property home, if that's something you've also been considering. October the 7th to the 8th, Mercury will square Pluto. Now, Pluto and Mercury are like revealing what was hidden through news or information. Mercury is going to be reason Mercury October 7th will do this square as he's changing signs. Mercury, I don't know how your dreams were, guys. Were you having intense dreams and really having amazing meditations at night? Because Mercury was in your 12th house, for quite a long time there, September 18th to October 5th. So now he's leaving and he comes here, October 7th, into your first house. Now, when you add Mars and Mercury together, you silver-tongued devil. You guys are like getting what you want because you're persuasively communicating with charged, ambitious, directional, motivational energy. Holy man. So whatever this is, very motivational speaker or something, you got it together. You are going to be able to verbalize and write and communicate with a powerful, passionate, and maybe sometimes aggressive stance, advocate for what you need, what you want, and where you want to go. You are turbocharged with both skills of ideas, communication, and passion, ardor, and directionality, and decision-making. And often decision-making power, which is often forgotten about, that's Mars's wheelhouse, is something that most people have a hard time with. Mercury is giving you what you need to know, the information to make the decisions you need to make. And because Mercury is squaring Pluto, there may be some major decisions about where you live. You may be thinking about a major change of your home, I'm moving your home, or some major changes to do with real estate and property, as an example. Pluto is connected to things that are hidden from view, things from your childhood, things from your parents, secrets about mom, dad, and childhood stuff being recognized, revealed, or understood by you for the first time in a long time, if ever, if ever. Yeah. And then Venus, and this is why I call this lucky on the video and all that. Venus and Jupiter are in a sextile. Okay, I'm pausing. I'll fix the screaming blinds in a minute. Give me a minute. Well, I may be warm, but at least it's not like a total tsunami of sound behind this microphone. Thanks for your patience, Scorpio. And now we're back to you. So, Venus, the goddess of beauty and love, is in the house of pennies from heaven and windfalls. She's sextiling Jupiter in the house of the word travel, international, academia, luck, Lakshmi luck, wealth, prosperity, father figures, and more. There is some kind of possibility of some financial gain through a father figure or a spiritual community or an academic setting or an international setting, connected to also some loss because of the South Node. On the other hand, this could easily open up a doorway for some of you to make a significant change in your work, because you no longer need to make money the way you were doing it, because some other force of financial abundance has showed up, and you can step away from like the dead end job or the work that you really don't want to be doing. And this is a nice, blessed opportunity. Venus and Jupiter co-joined together in your 9th house and blessed you there for a whole year. They did this in the month of August, around the 12th. This is indicating a reset button and a fresh new start for you, connected to your 9th house. Your 9th house is your dharma, being on purpose, aligned with what you want in life, aligned with who you're meant to really be. It can open up vistas of international, foreign lands, publishing, academia, but it's telling me spiritual truth, wisdom, religious knowledge, spiritual community more. And there's something about that wants to be seated in your life. And this is the first opening act. And it's fortunate because of the sextile. But you might have to let go of something. You might have to let go of a community of friends. You might have to release or surrender some kind of way that you gain money, profitability from your career. That path is no longer serving you. It's no longer satisfying you. And indeed, with the sun, the ruler of your 10th house of career in the 12th, you have been reflecting with this Libra sun on your deepest purpose in life and whether or not you're satisfied with the career that you're currently pursuing. Most of you will resonate with that. You could have some luck befall you from a sibling one older, or a favor from a friend, and an unexpected fortunate opportunity to travel to a place you've traveled to before with a friend or with your significant long-term love partner. Venus is a ruler of your marriage house. And those are fantastic, good stories that you're feeling into October 7th to about the 10th. Now, as we move towards October the 10th, you're going to notice that Venus is getting ready to cross paths with Saturn in a tug of war. This is not an easy feeling. Venus is always trying her best to bring something positive to our lives, especially that we enjoy, that brings satisfaction, peace, love, harmony, and pleasure. And yet she's in a condition called fall, and the South Node is weighing her down. Maybe a fall of pleasures, maybe you need to find new spiritual community or less friends that are vacuous or vacant, who knows. And some satisfaction in friendships is being called forth in this eclipse cycle. But as Venus is sitting here and she's opposite, Saturn, this is where resilience and endurance are key words in romantic love, in long-term committed love. And sometimes it might feel like love is hard, and yet you can prevail under this influence. If you are looking at your artistic, creative, or entrepreneurial path, then this is one of those moments where it just feels like you might hit a wall and your creative spark and the muse feel like a grind, and you just want to close the door and shut it up. And I get that. I've been there too. Possibly if you're thinking of fertility stories and pregnancy with you and your partner, this could be a little bit of a challenging window of time where maybe you're not wanting to get all down to make a baby, or you've got a baby on the way and you're thinking you're overwhelmed with finances, and a new child isn't ideal, or even a new grandchild wouldn't be ideal at this time in some circumstance in your life. It just feels hard. And lastly, maybe a conflict with a child that you already have, a difficult circumstance occurring for that child, a hardship for that child where they're having a difficulty in their life and you're looking on and you're having your response to it, which would typically be, in this sky, I'll take action, I'll be supportive, and I'll figure out a solution. All right. For my child, particularly in your chart, a first or a second born child. All right. The next thing to draw attention to is Venus is moving out of Virgo. Now, Virgo, as I said, it's not her happiest place, but she's there every year. You've lived with it all of your life. So she finally gets out of the Virgo story and moves into Libra on September the 18th. And as she does, so when you had that hardship of Venus opposite Saturn, and I said, well, it's a little difficult right now, you were feeling a lot of that around October, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. Okay. Now Venus here on the 14th, 13th, and sometimes I'll just crossed over into Libra, and she's no longer worried about the hardship. She's dealing with Neptune. And there's just some vibe here of, after a hard time, there's a dreamy realization of some spiritual truth, This is, again, the axis of self-undoing and health habits and addiction, especially Neptune addictive escapist substances or actions. And Venus is coming into her home kingdom of Libra, where she's in great dignity and has extraordinary power. And you may be able to buck a bad habit or addiction connected to past lives or connected to your childhood and family of origin. And those ways of undoing yourself can kind of begin to dissolve under this energy. If you're single, you might start dating somebody from a distant shore or far off land, and it may feel very dreamy and soulmatey. I don't mind so much Neptune retrograde, but give it some time, because what you see is not necessarily what you get in a new dating scenario here. If you're artist, creative type, this is Venus in the house of solitude and aloneness and the bed pleasures and what you do home alone and alone at home. And this is really good for the artist in you. And I would say that it can open up new vistas of channeling the muse, connecting to a deeper part of your artistic ability. And I would encourage all the artistic, the writers, the communicators, the singers, whatever you do during this window of time, especially Libra, that could be your writer types, songwriter, writer, I don't know. This is a very good muse inspiration window of time. And she will be in Libra with this inspiration energy from October the 13th to November the 6th. She entered into Virgo, by the way, September 19th, October 12th, right? So if you want to go back and think about how you were feeling with all this sort of Venus in the house of friends with is flushing down the drain, or career, maybe even profitability in your career, feeling like it was getting sucked under, right? But now it's a new powerful energy for Venus. She's so on her A game. And she's exalted by Saturn over here. So the more creative you are, the more Saturn in the house of the muse will give you the most masterful artistic, creative, or performative expression you're capable of. So really maximize this time for downtime, behind the scenes, creative and entrepreneurial focus. Again, October 13th, 14th through to November 6th. All right. So on October 16th, 17th or so, Sun will square Jupiter. Mercury squared Jupiter 1st and 2nd of October. That's the information on news. Sun can bring it to fulfillment, to an actualization. So there may be a connection in those two stories. Don't discard that. The Sun and Jupiter, such powerful dude. This could definitely look like getting accepted at your favorite school, going off to university, getting a visa passport underway, taking an international trip, or planning the international trip. It's beginning to open up on the 14th. It's exact on the 17th. And it's waning by the 18th, 19th. And so this is a whole time where these things are very fortunate and lucky for you. And Venus is watching it and bonifying it, bringing it sort of a double your luck energy. Okay, double your luck at this time. You could get a book publishing deal, backroom deals and negotiations for an international award. I mean, there's so many ways that could look. It's just so lusciously good for you. This is still the house of hospitals. This is still a father figure. Again, money coming from a hospitalized solar figure. They may not, I don't know what that is. Just saying, some of you might encounter that kind of legacy wealth transfer going on in the story. October the 19th or so, Mercury bumps into Mars. These two coming together in your sign for you is wonderful. The only downside is the way you communicate might be hyper aggressive. This is not a time, let's go ahead and say about the 16th to the 20th. This is not a time for you to lose your temper, because you might do some really intense damage with this combination of verbal and communicative power connected to aggression and conflict, or arguing or whatever. So who would you argue with most likely? Well, typically it normally would be your spouse over here, but Venus is out of the Lord is an aversion. So I doubt you would argue with a spouse, honestly. I'm not sure if it's just your temperament is really aggressive and you're verbally and ardently writing, communicating, talking, negotiating, deal making, and marketing or something. There's a lot of communication here. And you'll notice that it trines the North Node. And so that could be back to the muse, your artistic entrepreneurial endeavors, fierce and heated conversations with a child, especially in this case, a firstborn child. But again, it's a flow. So the children aren't getting really difficult energy off of this. They're willing to accept your ardent, passionate advice. And with the South Node, North Node axis here, there is also a possibility of major decisions you're making to let go or release a particular job and move into something new and find a new path. In a broad way, there's a square to the fourth house. So maybe also some decisions to change your home are underway, but not ready for you to take yet. You're more like thinking about that than you will actually do any changes in your home. That'd be more likely in November. Now, the next story we have going for all of us is October 21st, new moon, 28 degrees of Libra. Libra is a sign of balance and harmony. And for you, it's always where you find it alone at home, in your solitude, in your bed pleasures and your creative time alone at home, maybe in the ashram or with the guru, maybe off to a retreat. This is how you thrive. It's your balance and harmony zone, your 12th house, and liberation spiritually as well. And this energy that I want to mention here is that the new moon begins right here. The moon will move into the sun, and around 28 degrees, there's a new beginning. Now, this is a fame degree. In a sense, it's called the household name degree. Venus is the artist or the diva or the performer, and you may come into a little bit of a splash. You could just be lucky enough regarding what Venus exalts. So Venus exalts Libra and Venus exalts Pisces, and Saturn exalts Libra. There's a secret conversation. going on between Venus and the house of creative, artistic, entrepreneurial endeavors. Another would be getting knocked up or getting your partner knocked up pregnant because of a trip, a getaway, travel, or just a lot of bed pleasures. And there's this beautiful, oh, look, we're pregnant, honey. But for the artist, the creative, the entrepreneurial type, wow, go for it. You're really able to use that energy on the new moon of October 21st, add 2 weeks, right? For that creative, generative, exciting, lucky energy to play out. And I want to encourage you to think about how you might fulfill this in the next 6 months. So it's not just one story, right? What are you conceiving in the back room of your reality that could fruit in your artistic, entrepreneurial, and creative expression? It's exciting to think about. Let me know what that might be. I'd love to hear from you. On the last week of October, so we're going to go to the 21st now, to the end of the month. So the last week, the first thing I would pay attention to is Sun square Pluto. And that's because the Sun, after being in Libra for 1 month, will transition to Scorpio for a month, third week of October to third week of November. This is also a time of year, every year, where you get really lit up. You know, if it's your Sun on Sun, your career's lit up. Moon on the Sun, and your home life, new beginnings in your home life. But if it's the Sun here on your ascendant, you are lit up. Your personality, character, it's all bright and shiny around you. Downside, it's like sitting under the sun lamp all day long and you can't turn it off. You don't get enough sleep sometimes. You feel a little fried. You feel a little bit under the spotlight. It feels intense. But because Mars, the Lord of your sign, is with you, helping out, I think it's going to be not as bad as other years. And Mars is only here every 2 years. So this is nice. I feel like with Mars in the Scorpio zone of the sky, you might be feeling that your command of your ideas and your executive decision-making and communication skills are now met by a solar energy, a real bright light in the career space, right? Because the Sun rules your career. You're definitely looking like there's some payoff here for something you've been already championing, working on, getting connected to, and it may look like a nice little pop in the work and career space for you. You ain't seen nothing yet. Next year, when Jupiter moves into your 10th house, you're going to be on fire and success for your career. That will be after next July. So this is a build-up, a runway, and a ramp for that success. To get to that success, Scorpio, you're leaning into Dharma, purpose, meaning of life, and being on your true north compass. And that's what you're supposed to do until next July. And this is the beginning of a feeling like some of this stuff is coming to pass already. As the Sun moves into Scorpio, the Sun will square Pluto. Pluto is in the 4th house. This is riches from mom and dad or the family of origin. This is land, property, real estate. This is investments in precious metals, perhaps. With Uranus, any crypto or precious metals might be popping in your portfolio. But when the Sun squares Pluto, there's something that's very challenging at the very same time. You might be feeling like you are literally having a authority conflict struggle with somebody in your home, perhaps, or in the work environment itself. Because Mars traveling through your 1st house during the entirety of the whole storyline, September 22 to November 3rd, can look like quitting your job, quitting your marriage, or quitting where you live, right? All of those are true. Watch out for flashpoints as the Sun is moving through here, overheating Mars and making you flash out of the job, out of the relationship, or out of the home because you're just fed up. So that's the downside of the Sun through your sign. When the Sun ingresses, there's a fallen moon here. Moon represents home as a general principle. Some difficulty with somebody in your home is evident at this time. That's not a surprise at all. So, or from your childhood or your mom and dad, and some conflict energy or power struggle energy here. There's a beautiful, flowing, lucky, easy, relieving water trine. It houses 1, 5, and 9. And it's being activated by Mercury and later on near the end of the month by Mars. And so as Mercury's the first guy to step in and say, I've got this, what kind of emails, phone calls, text messages are you receiving or sending connected to book publishing, academia, visas, passports, foreign travel, foreign people, guides, mentors, coaches, pastors, preachers, and spiritual attainment and community, and legal and court matters. If you have to fight for any court situation until next July, Jupiter's got your back and Mars is giving you the fighting instincts. But I love this flow. It could be information from the lawyers or a judge. It could be getting your acceptance letter to a university or college. It could be getting a passport visa application approved. It could be setting in motion a trip. And fifth house, romantic trip, leisure trip, foreign land getaways, creative endeavors, birth of children and grandchildren, acknowledging that they're coming your way, finding out, getting the letter. That's all that trine energy as well. Being pregnant with your partner or yourself or a grandkid on the way, all possible under this influence. Again, it's a whole last week, the 21st to the end of October. See, because watch this story. Look at that. Look at Mars take up the Mercury handhold, right? Mercury has the information, the news you need. And then what does Mars say? Executive decision-making power. Oh, honey, you're going to be a grandparent. Oh, honey, you're pregnant or your partner's pregnant. That's the news part of the story, the news flash. And then comes Mars. Let's do this. Let's do that. This is my action. This is my decision based on the information. This is flowing. Should I take the book publishing contact? Should I say yes to the agent who wants to represent me? Something is happening here. And it's because it's in the Dharma houses 1, 5, and 9, and they're lucky houses. 5 and 9 are lucky houses. This is a double luck energy for Scorpio. You are really feeling something is flowing your way, and you should be well pleased, and it should be quite happy. It should be a good feeling. Then finally, let's move us to the last story. Mercury will move into your second house of money, earnings, and resources. He's going to be here for a long time because of retrogradation. But his first salvo getting into the second house of the money, resources, and possessions, and extended family, your family as well. This is the first movement into this part of the chart. Is only till November 19th, and then he retrogrades back into Scorpio. So it's almost like money in you, resources in you, spending in you. There's going to be a lot of stuff over the next 2 months, right? It's going to be like November, December, where you're working on these themes. Mercury is information, and there's a surprise. Like, shock and awe. What's the surprise? What is it that you didn't see coming? What is the thing that's slapping you, into awareness? This is inheritances. This is windfalls and it's not windfalls. This is inheritances. This is money from a stock investment. This is tax matters. This is money shared with a spouse. There's a surprise or unexpected development coming through the money axis for you. And it does sextile, okay? The energy, I sextiles the energy. What was I going to say? No, it doesn't sextile the energy. Yes, it does. Sextiles the energy. Flows or supported energy by Chiron. So if you had any wounds around debts and indebtedness, money owed, money due, that's also very much a flashpoint around indebtedness. Because Chiron can say, is there an indebted situation that wants to be healed here, that you can unburden yourself of financial debt, or have, a debt to pay off and suddenly you can pay it off? I don't know. That kind of thing could happen. And the other thing I think about this energy when Mercury moves into this part of your sky is he's talking in a Pluto conversation to do with riches and wealth in the homeland, fourth house, property and real estate. Somebody suddenly decides to make an offer in your house. And you're like, you want to buy my house? And they offer you a lot of money. What a surprise. Money from mom or dad out of the blue. And mom could give you money. Look at Pluto moon there. Like, here, honey, here's some money. Take the cash and run. But also there could be family of origin inheritance money that you're looking at coming your way at this time as well. And the flashpoint or surprise would be how much you're getting or not getting or whatever. And but Jupiter prevails to get you what you're deserving in any legal entanglements connected to family of origin money, wealth, or even spousal support and divorce money. And surprises, sure, but then you getting some really good support from Jupiter that no matter what happens, something good is trying to happen here for you. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I apologize for all the interruptions. Come join me in Sky Reader or Renn Butler's The Archetypal Universe. I'd love to see you there. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video.